My name's Beth Poague. I live in Beacon, New York in the Hudson Valley. I'm a mom. I have two kids. Finn is 11 and Charlie is 17. And I'm 53. I am late diagnosed autistic. I've had my diagnosis for just a couple years. I've been suspicious of it for more than that. My understanding and realization of the ADHD came much earlier, and then the picture got kind of completed in the last couple years. Another important piece of the diagnosis and the understanding was that I started doing somatics work many years ago. And so I started to develop understanding of not only the complex trauma that I had been through and how it affected my body, but also just how to move things through my body and how to feel. I learned that I hadn't really spent a lot of time in my body in my life or feeling my feelings. And so about 6 years ago, 7 years ago now, I got divorced. And that experience and going through that, level of kind of emotion and being forced to confront patterns and feelings and, just going through a big traumatic shift in my life. Kind of got me here. Also, I have a kid. My 11-year-old Finn is disabled. He has a rare genetic syndrome that is a global developmental delays. And so he's 11. And so throughout his life and learning about his syndrome and how it's showing up in his body and navigating the special education process and all of the stuff that I've learned through that has been an important part of understanding myself and my own journey. Culturally, we're not prepared for difference and for different things happening, and we're not supported as parents, So I do a lot of work with parents and supporting parents around parenting kids with disabilities, and it's been really important work for me. And that's been a huge part of my healing and a huge part of my journey. And so I learned about my ADHD by learning about rejection sensitive dysphoria. When I learned about that, I could not believe what I was reading. The description of it, of that physical pain that came from that feeling of rejected, that extreme feeling of being rejected, was so relatable. I knew exactly what that felt like in my body. And that got me down the road looking at ADHD and ADHD symptoms. And I started learning about my procrastination and my overwhelm with tasks and my executive functioning. And, it explained my messy room I had my whole life and my inability to, keep my house in order and to remember dates and to miss deadlines and to miss payments and just all of this mess, which of course I brought into, parenting and into my marriage, and it caused a lot of conflict in my marriage. When I look back at the course of my life and, like these deep depressions I had in high school, like these periods of depression and post high school, it's really incredible for me to look at that through the lens of burnout. I was going through cycles of burnout, of really severe burnout. And similarly, when I look at relationships I was in and behavior that I exhibited, that could be considered manipulative behavior or just crazy, a lot of that was having meltdowns and feeling misunderstood and not knowing what to do and kind of just having my brain go offline and being overwhelmed and not feeling supported, not feeling heard, not feeling cared for. That just kind of arose in these just like extreme emotional dysregulation that kind of just went, I was crazy. I was told I was crazy. I acted crazy and I believed it in myself. I didn't have any other language to give it. So yeah, it's been a wild ride to really look back at all of that through the lens of being autistic and having ADHD and really understanding what was going on in my body and my nervous system and just the lack of care and understanding that I was given growing up. trying to get my needs of safety met, and just constantly trying to like act the part and say the right thing and do the right thing, and being hyper vigilant about what I'm supposed to be doing or how I'm being perceived. And to me, that's what masking is, right? Is just that hyper vigilance and, trying to fit in and trying to like do exactly the right thing, and then at the same time not be perceived at all, right? And so it's just this incredible like constriction and holding of myself all of the time, and scanning the room and scanning everybody's faces and perceiving little shifts in somebody's mood towards you or how they're acting towards you. And to me, when I say I wasn't in my body for like the first 48 years of my life, that's part of it, right? It was all like neck up, just this constant observing, and what does that mean? And what does that mean? And trying to attach meaning to everything, and really feeling like I'm never getting it, or I'm always getting it wrong, or why don't I understand? Even when I was like, you know, performing it perfectly in my mind. I think one thing I really think of about my masking is that it's not being clear about my distress. So I think I was always in distress. So I was in so much distress, but I was never open about it. I was always hiding it. I was always hiding my confusion. I was hiding my distress. I was hiding the uncomfortable feelings I had in my body. And I longed for care. And I longed for somebody to see my distress and to take care of me and to make things easier and to help. I know when I started to unmask, it was my pendulum just kind of swung the full other direction. And I was just like, I'm going to be me and you have to deal with it. And I remember being kind of belligerent and kind of like, well, if you don't like it, then that's your problem. And then kind of after I initially got through that sort of pendulum swing this way to, fully unmasking versus being fully masked my whole life, I was able to kind of temper it and get more in the middle. And to me now, I have an understanding, first of all, that I don't have to always unmask all the time, that masking protects me. It conserves my energy. It allows me to stay in situations sometimes, and it allows me to stay regulated. And some people just don't, aren't worthy of my energy and my time to be unmasked. And to me, being unmasked is a form of intimacy, and it's where safety is, It's where I feel safe. I'm able to do it when I feel safe. But also, I have leaned into unmasking in a way that creates safety for me. So, for instance, I have started being really clear about what's happening in my body and what's happening for me in an effort to slow situations down and to create space and safety for myself, and to not hold 100% of the burden of what's happening to me in a space, but allowing others to understand that something is happening for me, and these are some things I need, or these are some things that are not going well, and I don't know what I need right now, but I need you to pay attention to what's happening so I can participate fully. All right, what looks and feels different about unmasking? What looks and feels different? I think what feels different is that I feel safer. I feel like I'm telling the truth, and I feel like I'm being like in my integrity. Um, I'm saying what's happening for me. I'm being honest, and I'm not trying to survive. I feel like I'm not trying to hold everything and all the information and be responsible for everything that's happening. I feel like I'm able to share what's happening for me and ask for help and ask for care. And I understand that I don't have to do it all alone. And just to be authentic, to be honest and authentic, and show up as myself and not as this hyper vigilant person who's performing. What would I tell my younger self? I would tell my younger self that you're safe. You're safe. And I would tell my younger self that I love you. And that you belong here just as you are. That you don't need to change. That you don't need to be different. That who you are and how you want to show up is exactly right. It's exactly what the world needs. And I would just say it's it's the world that's kind of messed up. And I would want my younger self to know that your needs are okay, and you get to be cared for, and people get to give you what you need. You get to have what you need. You get to be cared for. I don't think I ever believed that. I don't think I believed that till I had children that I started caring for, and I started understanding that their needs are important and it doesn't matter what they are. Because no matter what I'm feeling or what I'm going through, I'm happy to see them, and I love them so much, and I want them to be here, and I want them to be with me. And I feel like I want to give that same care and joy and wanting to my younger self. That I am delighted by you. I am absolutely delighted by you. Exactly how you are. You don't need to change. You don't need to be different. I think what I wish people knew is how hard it is. How hard it is to live in this world, to navigate this world and all of the things that I need to navigate. And that idea, that hypervigilance, that being argumentative, all of that stuff that shows up, really, it's about traumatized adults and masked adults, people who are masking. And I just wish for compassion,